Missed by 8 Inches by Lionel D'Souza is a saga of two friends from a remote Indian town, whose journey leads them to manage U.S. Army facilities in a war zone. The core of the narrative is the tragic demise of one friend and the wrongful accusation of the other for leading him to his death. More than a story of loss and injustice, the book is a testament to the unyielding strength of their friendship, detailing their solidarity, shared laughter, and mutual support amid danger. It is a tribute to the unsung civilian contractors who work defenseless in war zones, sacrificing their lives, and whose stories of courage and sacrifice are often untold. Readers will journey with the two friends, witnessing the strength of their bond and the weight of their sacrifices. Please watch the previous chapters to help better understand Chapter 11. The narrator's journey begins in Saudi Arabia, where he establishes camaraderie with colleagues and experiences unexpected kindness despite a chaotic entry. His evolving friendship with Andrew is marked by repeated broken trust, foreshadowed by a childhood pact and later a job betrayal. A moment of cross-cultural respect with a Saudi priest precedes the narrator's pivot to working for the Australian Defence Force in the Kuwaiti war zone. Promoted to Afghanistan to manage facilities amidst the brutal realities of war, the narrator is later joined by Andrew. The climax sees the narrator heroically saving a soldier named Kevin during a recovery mission, earning deep gratitude and solidifying his role as a compassionate leader in conflict. We are now moving to Chapter 11, titled Compromised from Missed by 8 Inches, authored by Lionel D'Souza. In 2004, Andrew had become well acclimated to his role, capably managing the base during my absences and serving as my backup. I had thoroughly trained and mentored Andrew, ensuring he was proficient in all job-related tasks. The midsummer heat in Kandahar was intense, with temperatures soaring up to 58 degrees Celsius, causing the skin to feel as if it were burning. The base lacked full air conditioning, making it exceedingly challenging to work through the summer months. The U.S. Army conducted regular patrols throughout the town of Kandahar, ensuring a constant presence in the mornings, afternoons, and evenings as part of their daily routine. The base itself underwent significant infrastructure upgrades, with local contractors hired to complete the necessary work. These enhancements included the installation of a sophisticated periphery detection system and the activation of an advanced air-to-land missile detection system, both of which greatly bolstered base security. Additionally, a designated pathway was established for entry into the base, which was subject to stringent security checks to ensure the safety of all personnel. The Air Traffic Control, ATC, was equipped with state-of-the-art technology to monitor drone activity in the airspace, further enhancing the base's defensive capabilities. Due to these comprehensive security measures, the U.S. Army base was regarded as one of the most secure locations on Earth, virtually eliminating the possibility of any type of attack. Local contractors were engaged for various construction tasks such as civil works, road construction, and fencing. At any given time, there would be between 50 to 100 local workers present at the base, working continuously. Despite the stringent security measures in place, the presence of local workers was considered a potential risk, leading to even more rigorous security protocols in areas where they were active. One evening at the base, a local contractor was assigned to carry out runway maintenance. We from facilities had 2 individuals overseeing the operations on the runway, while U.S. troops were also stationed for added security. At 1,700 hours, there was a shift change, and the outgoing laborers were replaced by a new group. All necessary checks were conducted, including metal detector screenings, and the incoming team was cleared with no metal detections. Although it was 1,800 hours and still daylight due to the extended summer daylight hours, the team commenced their work. Concurrently, there was a shift change among the troops, with a fresh team arriving to take over the security duties. It was a relatively tranquil period, although the sound of gunfire occasionally served as a stark reminder of the surroundings. For the most part, these were precautionary measures by the Army, and actual combat was rare. Occasionally, though our insurance would not cover stepping out of the base, we would visit the marketplace to enjoy a cup of local tea at the stalls with my comrades. Neil often joined me. At one corner of the marketplace, there was a renowned spot for local tea where we would savor our drinks before returning with our group. Although we noticed a few onlookers who seemed to watch us intently, making us somewhat uneasy, the shopkeeper always welcomed us with great enthusiasm to serve our tea. Today, as part of our usual routine, Neil and I took a break with the patrol to enjoy some tea at the marketplace. We sat comfortably, savoring our tea, and when we paid in dollars, the shopkeeper's delight was unmistakable. I indulged in a local cigarette, signaling that it was time to head back. We climbed into the Humvee and began the rugged 50-kilometer journey back to the base. Lieutenant Denzel, a seasoned Army veteran, had been stationed at the base for about 6 months. This was his 4th tour in Afghanistan, showcasing his extensive experience in the region. On this particular day, he was driving the Humvee while the other trucks and troopers had stopped in the town for a drill. As we departed from the marketplace, Lieutenant Denzel noticed some locals trailing us. He promptly alerted Neil and me, expressing his discomfort with the situation. His keen observation and quick response highlighted his vigilance and concern for our safety. The tail consisted of a Toyota pickup with locals standing in the back, their faces covered. Such face coverings were common due to the muddy roads and to protect against the sand. After covering 20 kilometers, the tail vanished. Despite the long visibility of the road, there was no sign of it. Lieutenant Denzel, sensing something amiss, remarked to Neil, "There's no exit on this road, yet the tail has suddenly disappeared." Neil turned to me, advising, "Put on your body armor." He donned his own armor, and we continued in silence. 5 kilometers later, the tail reappeared, this time with 2 pickup trucks in pursuit. Lieutenant Denzel promptly radioed the base, expressing his unease about the situation. The sudden reappearance of the tail, now with additional vehicles, heightened our alertness. We knew we had to be prepared for anything. Just 3 kilometers from the base, the 2 pickups accelerated and closed in on us. Lieutenant Denzel quickly alerted Neil to the potential ambush and the urgency of reaching the base. He radioed in, revealing our identities in the Humvee and requesting immediate entry without the usual security checkpoint delay. The base, however, responded that they could not grant any clearances at the moment. This was due to an incoming convoy that was scheduled to enter the base shortly. The convoy's arrival took priority, and as a result, our request for clearance had to be put on hold. Understanding the gravity of the situation, Lieutenant Denzel reiterated the request for an expedited passage into the base. Also, he ordered the base to stop the convoy far from the base and not to approach the entry. As we approached the base gates, the 2 pickup trucks with locals were right on our heels. Lieutenant Denzel quickly signaled the base gate with his high beams while speeding towards it. As the local trucks increased their speed, Lieutenant Denzel felt a surge of urgency. He quickly grabbed his radio and contacted the base, his voice filled with tension. "We've been compromised, repeat, compromised. Close the gates immediately, close the gates. Tower, be on high alert, high alert. These vehicles are not friendly, I repeat, not friendly." Neil and I exchanged surprised glances, unable to grasp the unfolding events. At Lieutenant Denzel's command to keep your heads down, we instinctively complied without hesitation. The gates slammed shut just in the nick of time, and Lieutenant Denzel, only a few feet from the entrance, performed a sharp U-turn without reducing speed. This sudden maneuver caused Neil and me to be thrown to one side. The base tower troops quickly responded by launching an air-to-ground missile, which struck the pursuing trucks, engulfing them in flames. These trucks were loaded with IEDs, intended to launch a devastating attack on the base. Neil leaned over and whispered to me, confirming the dire situation as a base attack. Despite being so close to the explosion, We remained unharmed, though the blasts were deafening, and the trucks were completely consumed by the fire. Inside the base, chaos ensued as the ambush unfolded, with infiltrators clashing with the troops. Unaware of the internal situation, we circled back towards the gate, which by then had been secured, with all entry points shut. The swift action of the tower troops averted damage to the infrastructure, as the trucks were neutralized before they could breach the entrance, effectively blocking it. Lieutenant Denzel maneuvered the Humvee to push one of the burning trucks aside, clearing a path to the gate. The gate troops, recognizing us, quickly opened the gates. Now we could hear gunfire within the base. Lieutenant Denzel warned the gate personnel to be vigilant for any following attacks and to keep him informed. Once inside the base, Lieutenant Denzel quickly identified the source of the gunfire. It was originating from the runway where local workers were present. Without hesitation, he steered the Humvee towards the runway, urgently instructing us to stay low. As I peered between the seats, I could see the U.S. troops taking cover on the runway, pinned down by sporadic gunfire from the locals. The situation was tense, with bullets flying and the troops struggling to hold their position. The other companies and agencies stationed at the base had already gathered at the scene, fully armed and prepared. They were making efforts to negotiate with the armed individuals to de-escalate the situation and prevent any further violence. Suddenly, one of the locals pointed their weapon directly at the Humvee where we were hiding. This aggressive move prompted an immediate response from the troops, who opened fire from all directions. On the runway, there were 18 infiltrators present, not all of whom were combatants. However, due to the actions of that one individual, 7 people were fatally shot, and 11 others sustained severe injuries. The situation quickly turned chaotic, with the troops responding to the perceived threat in an attempt to secure the area. After the situation stabilized, we remained in the Humvee, and Lieutenant Denzel checked on Neil and me, asking, "Are you guys okay?" We both nodded in affirmation. Unfortunately, the incident resulted in the loss of 2 U.S. troops who were on guard duty at the base. Lieutenant Denzel's foresight proved to be accurate, and his decisive actions played a crucial role in safeguarding many lives. End of Chapter 11. Subscribe to the channel and press the bell icon for more updates on the next chapters. Thank you for listening and subscribing.